said it before we played them, that I think they had two of the better guards in our league that I've seen so far. I thought they completely controlled the game in the first half. And, Alvarado and DeVoe, who we didn't face Alvarado a year ago, those two guys completely got wherever they wanted to in the first half. And, once you offer that little of resistance to start the game, why wouldn't your confidence grow? Not that those guys need any more confidence for Georgia Tech, but why wouldn't your confidence grow when you're getting anywhere you want? And I thought it opened up driving lanes for other players, guys like Jordan Usher, Moses Wright. I thought those guys were really playing well off of a really, really good tandem. And our defensive energy was completely different in the second half. And you're going to ask me why, and I'm going to say I have no idea. And maybe it's because everybody tells us for the last couple of days, hey, great game, man, you guys are good, man, it was awesome, all that crap. And, it's funny how success can change your mindset sometimes. And, man, at some point, I got to get some older guys resembling being older. And I say that with all due respect. I know that Georgia Tech has lost some close ones. They've been in every game. Had a ton of respect for their talent level, the stuff they run, the way they try to keep you off balance, going man to zone. They've been in every game. They've won 3 road games out of 4, 3 out of 5 now. But we escaped by the skin of our teeth, and I think Georgia Tech had a lot to do with that.
As a coach, have you been in a situation like this before where, as you mentioned, you don't know why the effort was different in the second half?
I'd like to think that our kids, really care about winning, and we have a lot of pride. But it shouldn't take a deficit to figure that out. It shouldn't. I told our kids before the game, I have no idea what type of fight Georgia Tech's going to bring to the table. Maybe they mail it in. Maybe they come out and play the best game of the year. Maybe it's somewhere in between. But, what's our fight going to look like? And disappointed to say the least. Now, in the second half, I thought we turned it around. And, it's 18 to 22-year-old guys sometimes that, can drive you crazy. But we've got to be able to figure it out.
When you did get the ship right, was it just a matter of effort and intensity, or were there other things defensively you were doing? And then another question you probably can answer, but what happened? You're up 11 and looked like you're going to cruise.
Couldn't score. I would tell you that, did we make a few adjustments at halftime? Yeah, absolutely. But we do that every game. Maybe a team has 15 things that they run, and then all of a sudden you see 2 or 3 of them primarily in the first half, and you figure out how they're really trying to attack you versus maybe their past opponents. So we talked about how we wanted to guard the roll and replace a little bit differently. But primarily, Eric, it was about, can we do the job on these guards and not have them just get in the middle of the lane with the live dribble every single possession? And I thought we did a better job of that. They still, because they're good, they still had some times where they got down there. What happened when we get the lead? I don't feel like it was, I think we couldn't score. I give Georgia Tech a lot of credit. We ran a couple things that I thought we had decent looks. And then, our defense just eroded for about 2 or 3 possessions. That's sort of a microcosm of what I'm talking about, first half, second half.
You mentioned that this might be because of the success that you had in Durham, but this has happened at home a couple times this season where it's kind of a listless first half and then takes you guys a little while to regroup. Is there any similarities that you see between all of those games?
Just your adjective, and that's it. I don't know if there's a common denominator. We've had different lineups. We've had different styles of play. We've had different times where the funk is to start the game or it's to end the half. But in either case, you're right. It just, if I knew and could just wave a magic wand, I'd do that. That's why we're going to continue to practice, and we're going to figure this thing out. And, again, I'm never going to be apologetic after a loss or after a win. We found a way to win and make the plays down the stretch, and we just had to figure out a way to get better. I mean, we're not this juggernaut, just so everybody's clear. We're trying to get there, but that's not who we are.
Well, on the juggernaut theme, Josh's opening statement was that he would be surprised if you were not in the Final Four.
Can I take that? I'll just take that and run. Thanks. It's a hell of a season. Thank you. You want to talk about the matchups now in the Final Four? Jeez, I'm crying.
Do you classify that as the kind of crap that you got after the Duke game, and how do you receive that as a coach?
Josh is, he's a really good dude. He gives credit to teams and coaches. I've played against him before. He gives credit to other teams and coaches when he wins and when he loses. He's gracious. He understands that we all go through ups and downs with our team, and he doesn't get up here and just talk about what his team didn't do. Both teams have scholarships, and I got a lot of respect, and I really appreciate whatever the heck he said, because I know he's a genuinely good guy. So, having said that, I don't buy any of this stuff.
Can you talk a little bit about Malik's play in the last 7 minutes? Had a lot of big plays, but scoring on the boards.
Yeah, he's just. I feel like a broken record. He's one of the best defensive players in the league. Made some big plays offensively. Made some big free throws, really big free throws. Defensively, his greatest attribute is his mind. He sees things develop. He certainly has great versatility. I could put him on a guard. We were switching ball screens at the end. They just didn't happen to use any. So he was never on Alvarado or DeVoe, but I think he would have done the job. So his versatility and his mind and his length and his toughness and desire just make him a terrific defender. And if we didn't have him, we wouldn't be a very good defensive team, or at least as good as we are.
Chris, 14 of 23 from the line, but in the final minute, Malik did hit, I think, 5 big ones there in about the last minute or so.
Yeah, you want to be that team that goes 100%, but I think our team has been there now in key moments where we need to try to make it a 2-possession game or seal a game with free throws, and we're trying to go up there and concentrate. And obviously Malik made a couple big ones at Cameron and made some big ones tonight. So really happy for him. A guy like that deserves it.
It seems like when teams go zone against you guys, it doesn't last very long. Josh talked about that a little bit. What do you credit that to? Is that something you guys just prepare to see, or do you just have a team that's naturally pretty good at executing against that?
We have some guys that can really shoot, so it stretches the zone in ways that maybe zones don't get stretched often enough. We try to put Ryan out there. They went to it to start the game, but I thought our guys, recognized what we talked about, leading up for a couple days, like the soft spots in Georgia Tech zone are a lot different than the soft spots in other, standard 2-3 zones, if you will. And our guys found those spots, and we did a really good job in converting on a few of the open looks that we got, and so it probably gave him an eerie feeling to continue to stay in it.
Darius kind of got more run tonight, got a little more run tonight than he got on the road those past 3 games. What was the difference for him tonight?
I thought he was the only guy with great energy and talk and effectiveness in the first half. And, coaches really enjoy winning. And if you're going to see a guy put that type of effort out there, it's never personal. If a guy plays 10, 12 minutes, it's because he wasn't as good as the other guys that played the 28 minutes. But tonight, Darius was our best defender, and he was doing a terrific job on either Alvarado or DeVoe, whoever he was assigned to. And offensively, he was making the right decisions. So he's going to play then. It's just how it works.
Conventional wisdom in the industry seems to be that if you get 2 fouls in the first half, you sit for the rest of it. You brought David back with 2 fouls with 5 minutes to go. What does that say, and how reluctant are you to do that?
I just don't think one size fits all, Tim. I look at it like, okay, David has 2 fouls with 5 minutes to go. We're going to sit him the whole half. He hasn't picked up his third, obviously. if he does, let's say worst case scenario, he picks his third, I'm going to take him out. Well, he's not starting the second half. So now we're 14 minutes left in the game. He's got 3 fouls. A lot of guys play with that. So I didn't have any concern. A couple of my assistants did, but I guess that's why I'm different pay grade than those guys, because I make those final decisions.
Coach, what'd you think of David's, I guess, response to the attention he got from his game on Saturday? And it at least seemed like he was on the floor. You guys closed that gap in the second half.
Hey, he made some plays that I think you guys are starting to see, like what we've talked about as a coaching staff. But I don't know if you saw on the defensive end, he was a sieve like a few of the other guys, where guys went right around him. And again, David's a freshman. He's going up against sophomore, junior, and guys that really can handle the ball and get to spots, and they've had ACC defenders on them. So those are those moments that David has to learn from and gain experience in. I thought Darius and Fresh in the second half were better on-ball defenders than David was. And David's going to come a long way and become a really good on-the-ball defender, but he's going to have moments where he can't keep a guy in front of him. And I can't afford to keep anybody on the floor if they continue to get blown by. So take the good with the bad, because there's a lot of good, and we've talked about that. So it's just part of him maturing and getting better and getting more experience.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Feel it. Let me ask you another.
What's that?
I had one more question. I don't have to ask it. I feel like sometimes we talk about these experienced guys as if they've, kind of enjoyed this tradition that Louisville has. When you think about it, really all they've known is turmoil. How much of the challenge is kind of they got to take a step kind of that they haven't taken? How much of that is your
I mean, they've been on really good teams. Some of them were obviously, coached by one of the best, if not the best. But it's time, and it's been time that they've been around us long enough where they can't just be on good teams. They got to be, the leaders. They've got to be the tone setters for those good teams, not just be in the locker room. And that's a learning process. And I have a few guys that want to do it by example, a few guys that, are starting to grow horns a little bit and keep a teammate accountable. But we're not there yet. And you can see moments like tonight better get us closer to there.